So welcome and good morning at Career Pathshala. It's a privilege and honor to have Prashant from US Boston. A warm evening to Prashant and welcome to Career Pathshala show. We have started the show with something on employability. Then we went to resume building and technical sessions. We took on cybersecurity and business intelligence. And today we will be having Prashant talking about his experience on cloud and business on cloud. To we welcome Prashant. We really thank you. It's late evening there at Greater Boston, and when we are having our breakfast, you probably have been done with your dinner. So technology is bringing us together, and a lot of Indian students getting up early. Many of them will be joining soon, and we are getting more live views increasing. And We hope that students will definitely take the best out of your experience and about the topic which we will be taking it today. We have with us co-host Shubhi and Akshita. So, can Akshita, over to you to welcome Prashant and then Shubhi.
A very good morning to the viewers and a very warm evening to our guest, Mr. Prashant Rai sir, Senior Manager at Salesforce. Cloud is the phenomenal solution to the problem of managing the ever-increasing data, keeping its best foot forward and proving that the technology prevails and dominates the world and market right now. We are enough to have you, sir, and it would be a great opportunity for the students who see their future job prospects in cloud computing. We're obliged and excited to have you.
Thank you.
Shubhi, your opening
Yes,
welcome
sir.
remark.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's session. My name is Shubhi Baronia from Yuva Bhopal. I would like to welcome today's guest, Mr. Prashant Rai sir, to Career Pathshala. I feel really proud to be part of this session with such prominent figure. Thank you, sir, for taking out your valuable time for students to give important lesson regarding digital commerce on cloud. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Really, uh, I'm really happy, excited that, I came from the same fraternity. I mean, how many, about 19 years ago, I graduated from Bhopal. So, yeah, it's bringing among the memories and always good to connect with, young and upcoming and, exciting, talent who are looking forward for, a great future. So, yeah, whatever,
प्रशांत
I
जी,
can.
हमारा ये जो चैनल है ये अराउंड 50 सिटीज में लाइव है. यंग इंडियंस का 50 सिटीज में चैप्टर है एंड लॉट ऑफ युवा इन दोस कॉलेजेस will be viewing this session live or after the session they will come and view. तो जैसा कि आपने कहा कि आप भोपाल से हैं एंड 2001 में आपने इंजीनियरिंग किया था. So, just tell us a small journey of your life from schooling. What brought you to Bhopal? You were a student, resident of Bhopal, or basically आप है कहाँ के?
Yeah, I am from Varanasi, kind of, a little bit rural part of it. Came from rural background actually. Did my schooling from a Saraswati Sis Mandir. That was the best school around there in my area. Learned a lot, and yeah, then engineering and came to Bhopal. And after graduation, it was actually a tough time. 2001 was, I think, tough time. Most probably, all the graduates remember that 9/11 happened, and then just before that, the dot-com bubble burst. If you all remember.
Y2K.
So yeah, so a lot of tough situation. I did some teaching as well in my alma mater in Bhopal for some time. Then worked in a company in Noida for some time. Then I always wanted to come to US for my higher education. I had at that time a lot of interest in artificial intelligence. At that time, it was really unknown technology. In 2001, artificial intelligence was like only research oriented. So I came here, did a lot of artificial intelligence related coursework, a lot of good things, robotics at the time, but uh, uh, AI at the time was not a biggest employment generator, to be honest. At the time, it was mainly research and universities and army, US Army, they were all using. So they need security clearance and a lot of those things. So yeah, started after doing a master's here, worked in different technologies at the time. But I was from the beginning itself. I was more involved into web technologies, e-commerce, and so still the same technology. I have seen changes happening, from hosted to cloud to now SaaS, which is it's all doing. If you compare how we used to sell products 15 years ago, how we sell it today, how we manage it, it is just transformed, like from 360 degree pretty much. So yeah, I have mainly worked into e-commerce, digital side of it, and a lot of retail e-commerce. Worked for a lot of retailers like Staples, Home Depot. I don't know if you guys know. Very big, billions of dollars of online sale they do, and then Salesforce and their Commerce Cloud product engineering. That's where currently I'm working right now.
Yes, it has been definitely a long journey if you go back and feel from a college life like these kids are to a place where you have been now. And in this course of journey, before we set the context to our session on technology, किस प्रकार की लर्निंग में डिफरेंस आप मानते हैं अपना? इसको मैं दो पहलू में पूछना चाहूंगा. एक तो यूएस कल्चर ऑफ लर्निंग ऑफ मे बी ऑन इंजीनियरिंग एमएस का अगर आप बताएं. दूसरा फ्रॉम इंडस्ट्री पर्सपेक्टिव, जो हम इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स को जो हम पढ़ाई कराते हैं, जो कैरियर में they go to a university and they do some syllabus and there's exam. 8 क्वेश्चन में से 5 क्वेश्चन करने हैं, 3 हो गए तो पास हो गए. And then the type of practical and projects we do, and so somewhere बच्चों को फॉर्मल यूनिवर्सिटी एजुकेशन के अलावा क्या चीज अभी से तैयारी करनी चाहिए, क्योंकि ये शो बहुत सारे फर्स्ट ईयर सेकेंड ईयर के स्टूडेंट्स भी देख रहे हैं. और तो एक तो एजुकेशन फ्रंट में क्या डिफरेंस है, और डेफिनेटली द टाइप ऑफ इंडस्ट्री विच यू आर वर्किंग अगेन, इट डिमांड्स समथिंग. अगर बच्चे पहले से अच्छे से प्रिपेयर होके आए तो वो एक अच्छा और रिवॉर्डिंग कैरियर बना सकते हैं. सो जस्ट throwing some light before we come to the subject of the day.
Yeah, I think the education front, I think the main difference is that, I know in nowadays we focus a lot of, getting marks, and, we used to focus more when we are close to the semester exams. I don't know how it's done now, but again, we used to have. Is it same thing? I don't know, but I think whenever we go closer to the semester exams, we start focusing more and getting marks. So getting marks is, yeah, again, that's a good thing. But here the difference is that you, especially professors, they two things is different. One is that you have to continuously perform, because we used to do weekly, bi-weekly tests within the class, and they keep accumulating towards your final grade. So there's nothing like wait for final exam, because final exam only give you a 20% credit of the entire semester. So that is not there. So you have to continuously go in the class and perform in the class. And they do like you have to do weekly assignments. I am from computer background, so programming assignments will be there. You can't really hide from that. So there are a lot of programming assignments, some tough ones, okay. But again, weekly assignment, then used to do surprise tests in the class. So you have to attend classes. If really, you can't skip those. So I think, continuous study, continuous focus I think it's a difference. You just don't wait for a final semester. You continue to learn, and a lot of focus on I would say practice and standardized, way of doing things, right? So if you get an assignment, for example, like a project, we used to do a project assignments and a major project in every most of the classes. So whenever you have to present your final project for that subject, then you have to do a very proper, standardized way of software engineering. You have to do a requirement analysis, gathering your test plan, your high level design, low level design, and then your coding. So it's just not you just code something and give a exe file, right? So it goes through the entire software development life cycle. So you learn all that, that the same thing that you go, once you go to industry, right? Things are done in that way, right? You have to go through a process, nothing ad hoc like do in college. We used to do in college, right? You start coding and you build something, right? That's just, I think, 25% of delivering any product, project, anything. It has to go through the entire requirement design, QA process, then it goes through, so we learned a lot in that way, that we learned a lot about practically how, once you go to industry, you are somewhat prepared, if not fully, but you are somewhat prepared. Sorry, how you're gonna take the new challenge, right? So I feel that was a huge difference in learning. So yeah, continuous learning is what I feel is the most important part. You don't just
So yes. So Prashant rightly said, continuous learning and learning relevant is important, and maybe what your university or what your syllabus is offering, but the relevance of what you are doing it with full honesty, standardized processes of coding in the assignments. So these are small practices. These are just the building blocks of your sound education. They are like roots of what you want to come up and show. Even there's an escape or a comfort zone ki, haan, theek hai, copy and paste, but you should try to build those blocks so that you can, when you go to the industry, you then definitely can take this forward. So let's start the topic for the day. So we would like to just bring light to the topic with your opening remarks, Prashant, on the subject of the day, and then we will take Q&A more to make it interactive and more understandable. So your opening remark for the topic, which is digital commerce on cloud. So the relevance and the importance to set the context, and then we start the Q&A mode.
Yeah, it's a large topic. I can talk and talk and talk about it, but I will go. I'll try to explain as much as I can. So, e-commerce platforms, all of us know, right? You have Flipkart, you have Amazon. These are some of the big examples. But if you go around, they're small, medium. Commerce is huge. It goes to trillions of dollars. So there is a B2C, there is a B2B. B2B is not as apparent as B2C, because we are all used to B2C, like business to consumer directly, right? B2B is business to business, that runs behind the scene but is as big as market. So if you look at the opportunities, there's a huge opportunity in B2B as well, B2C. B2C is more consumer focused. So, but a lot of big businesses, right, they deal with, for example, car dealerships, right? Let's say somebody sells a, Tata Motors car, they have, dealers. Now, B2B platform, what it does is, parts or new car ordering, everything, like dealers are directly connected with the company, right? All the ordering, all the parts, all that is comes under your B2B. B2C, we all know, we all see every day, we all place orders. So why SaaS or cloud comes into it, right? So usually, probably 10-15 years ago, e-commerce used to be a very monolithic kind of big application where you build, and then you have infrastructure you build for it. So what happens, like in, for example, retail, probably in India also, in US, we get peak seasons, it's called, right? In India, probably Diwali is peak season. A lot of people do a lot of buying, right? In here, it's Thanksgiving and Black Friday, Cyber Monday, kind of. What happened? You build your capability because you are building locally. तो आप अपना infrastructure build करते हो for your peak, right? So let's say you get 100,000 orders on that peak day, but you build your infrastructure for that, so that आपका जो infrastructure है can sustain the peak traffic, peak volume, because it's all driven by your underlying infrastructure. But what happens rest of the year? That infrastructure is only utilized 5%, 10%. And that infrastructure only used up to 50, 60, 70% when your peak comes. So rest of the year, it's lying there. Infrastructure costs money because it's not just the hardware, it's just operational cost. It's your electricity bills comes in millions for a data center because it takes a lot of energy to run really high capacity processors. So basically, you're paying for infrastructure, you're paying for utilities, you're paying for everything, you're paying for operational cost, everything throughout the year, but your usage is 5% of this entire infrastructure you're keeping your data center. So that's where cloud comes. That's where your SaaS comes, because then what it does is, once you have so what, for example, any SaaS based software does is, it gives you the platform as a service. I mean, the entire e-commerce platforms, you can just, it's like lift and shift, basically. So you just buy an image of the entire platform. You will not host it. You have nothing. You don't have to worry about infrastructure, operations, nothing. You're just using that image of that product, and you start customizing according to your needs. So it works functionality wise. It works same as what your current e-commerce product is in your on-premise. But this, what it gives you in flexibility, that you don't need to use 100% of infrastructure. You just pay by usage. So you only use 5% of it. So you only pay for the usage. Once you need 100%, the cloud have that you can spin off new parts, new infrastructure within one click. So if you need one infrastructure, they will spin off one infrastructure. So it gives you two things. It gives you one, that you don't need to worry about your infrastructure and your sitting infrastructure, which is sitting idle for most of the year, only used for peak days, peak time. And second, that you don't need to worry about operational cost of it. If you have a huge data center, you have to manage it. You need network team, you need server team, you need storage, all this, everything. You need operational management for that. Once you go to SaaS, you build software as a service, and you only pay for what you use, and it's scalable whenever you feel. So today is your peak, let's say, is good for trade infrastructure. But if you're a high growth company, if you're growing 30%, 40%, 50% a year, your infrastructure is going to be a bottleneck next year, because your capacity is not there to sustain it. Then you're going to add more infrastructure, you're going to add more operational cost. So that's where cloud-based SaaS infrastructure for digital e-commerce came into picture, pretty much. To sum it up, I don't know if you understand more explanation I can do, but it's a huge vast subject. But in nutshell, it gives you two huge advantages, right? It's gonna save you a lot of money because you don't need to manage it operationally, and then you're not wasting your infrastructure, which is sitting there doing nothing. And if you need more, you'll get it on demand. Basically, it will auto expandable. You need more. It's like elastic, right? The cloud elastic environment. You need more, it will get more. You don't need to worry about that. Oh my God, next year will I able to manage with the similar structure or not? So that's why I think it's growing how it is growing, because it gives you a lot of flexibility. Yeah.
Like, yes. So quite a good remark on the importance of cloud. And we have two students with us of their probably from final year. So yes, Shubhi, you want to ask something? Unmute yourself, please. Shubhi, unmute yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, as a student, which platform should we aim for cloud computing in the beginning?
So I think I always feel like platform is not as important. I believe it's right now there are three major. If you look into the cloud infrastructure, right? Cloud infrastructure providers, Microsoft Azure, AWS Web Services, and then GCP, Google Cloud Platforms. If you see how they work is pretty much same, right? I mean the way the entire technology works is not much different. It's just about how they are implemented. Amazon gives you a little bit more additional services, but it's expensive. So it's in adoption of all these three platforms, right? In terms of infrastructure, I think it's same. I think it's more important about the underlying technology, right? So Kubernetes and Dockers is what I think as a student, if you can focus on how they work, what they work, I think they are great. Right now, I would say buzzing technologies. If we really want to learn, I will focus more on how Kubernetes work, how Dockers work, and how they complement each other, and how you can expand those, right? So a lot of work goes today into from hosted infrastructure to cloud, and how you can use Kubernetes and Docker, right? So there are a lot of open source and a lot of information knowledge is available. If like AWS gives a lot of learning platform. I mean, you can get certified on Amazon Web Services. I think it's free of cost, the basic professional certification, and they will give you even labs to work on. So and same with Azure. So I think you can pick any. I would not discriminate, to be honest. I think I find both, even GCP, Google platform also pretty good. They have a little bit advantages, disadvantages, but I think as a student, if you want to learn, I think I will more focus on underlying technology than really any specific cloud, because um, you should be more versatile, right? In terms of you don't want to kind of pigeonhole yourself, right, in just Azure or AWS, because again, nobody looks for I want somebody who knows Azure or AWS. If you know cloud, if you have done orchestration, if you have done Dockers and Kubernetes, and use those to your day-to-day cloud implementation, is I think should be more focus.
So एक सरल भाषा में अगर प्रशांत जी मैं पूछूं, एक computer science, like cloud and business on cloud. So is it all for the computer science graduates or people from non-IT, or even computer science graduate जो एकदम यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ रहा है सेकेंड ईयर में, थर्ड ईयर में? So beyond going starting cloud, उसको पहले से क्या पढ़ना चाहिए? Like should you do something on programming, basics of programming? What are the other key supporting ingredients which can be helpful for him to then take career in cloud, and then maybe in understanding more better cloud वगैरह, या directly सीधे cloud को कुछ पढ़ना है? Like how it is all about as a
नहीं, आई थिंक कि कोई मतलब कंप्यूटर साइंस बैकग्राउंड का होना जरूरी नहीं है. Cloud is nothing but, if you think about cloud, right, you can, like in a, I'll say, miniature cloud, if you want to think about, right, just build one end to end, if आप एक infrastructure कोई भी pick करो, right, any MVC application, right, we call it the most basic जो आपका design pattern होता है, model view controller, anything with model view controller, right, you can pick any one image, right, so it's just infrastructure in a large scale. Cloud is nothing but the same. You all of you might have a computer at home, right? It's one computer. Just think about 1 million CPUs sitting in a data center, right? And how you manage it, how you scale it, how you security, right? When initially cloud came, right, तो बहुत सारा उसमें question tha, right? Security was the biggest issue in initial cloud adoption, basically. Security threats, security issues on cloud, a lot of big customers were not convinced that security compromise ho sakti hai, because again, cloud is shared infrastructure, right? It's not one customer exclusive. Aapka same cloud infrastructure might be shared with thousands of other companies. So what about the data security? So that was the first, I think, biggest hurdle the cloud adoption faced, and they successfully overcame it, right? So बहुत सारा काम हुआ security पे cloud infrastructure में. But anybody, right? Anyone who has interest, in computing, cloud computing mein, there's not much programming involved, right? I mean, again, it's a very vast area, but if you talk about infrastructure side, right? So I might be answering a lot of questions. Maybe you might ask, right? So infrastructure side is one part of cloud. That is your platform. So platform as a service, if you're providing, so mainly Amazon, right, provides mostly platform as a service. वो आपको बहुत सारा application नहीं देता है cloud पे, right? It gives you platform and a lot of services, APIs जो आप use कर सकते हो for your day-to-day application. तो अगर आप infrastructure side में जाना चाहते हो, right? Infrastructure side is huge. You don't really need a lot of programming background, but a lot of technology mindset, your interest area. A lot of scripting involved at those. So anybody can, I mean, I feel like, the infrastructure side is more open for any stream. You don't need to be computer science. Anybody can go become successful.
So maybe a knowledge of some networking and your interest in computer networks and understanding
any part of infrastructure, networking, storage. So abhi, two areas in infrastructure is very prominent, जो कि adopt हो रहा है हर जगह पे. One is called SRE, that's a site reliability, and one is DevOps. I think these are like keywords these days. SRE is mainly platform oriented. So it's pretty much like your site reliability, make your platform fault tolerant, have backup options, failover, they manage, huge infrastructures. Yeah, so that background. DevOps is more into deploying applications and managing application life cycle, continuous integration. That's also, you don't really need to be a programmer, really, I mean, for DevOps as well. And the third area is engineering. That is where you have to be more programming intensive. But again, programming, anybody can do, right? It's about, your problem solving skill. It's about your, logical skills. Programming will come, right? You just have to apply that. So engineering is what builds products. So engineering is, if you see engineering, that is the real engineering. So real engineering means they build the product, they manage the product pipeline, new features. It's not about building the product. You build the product and then again you have to keep building on it. Otherwise, you'll become obsolete, and somebody will come and take over. There are a lot of examples in the world that you are numero uno, and then you didn't invest much into adding new features, and you become a history. So you can get.
Reinventing is the key, and upskilling yourself is the survival techniques now. So
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
Akshita.
you have to.
Yes.
So, sir, we all know about the e-commerce market and how cloud is being used there. But I would love to know about some of the applications of clouds because we as students see our future in like cloud prospects. So I would like you to throw some light on that.
Applications are a lot of them. Probably you see your day to day right now. All the Microsoft products are on 360, right? Used to have Word, used to have Excel. Everything is now a cloud application. You don't host, you don't install anything. You just, it's just, everything over API call. So that is you day to day, right? Biggest example you can see as a cloud application. Um, Other than, if you see, a lot of industrial applications used to be, a lot of hosted applications, which, for example, if you go to railway reservation system, right? So railway reservation system, in India those days, um, you have a local machine, and then um, you have a centralized server. You communicate with the server for your transactions. Um, I think even that is going. I don't know it's finalized yet or not, but even that part is going on. But in real life, I think the word is, I say, the biggest example. All these Microsoft technologies became SaaS today. But if you go into more, how industry is using, right? For example, e-commerce. We used to um, host, like, if you go to an e-commerce site, for example, like you see rating and reviews right there. A lot of people go and rate, and you see, you go, then tax calculation happens, right? You go and see, right, based on your address, there's a tax calculation happens. There is a VAT calculation happens in India, for example. All these services, there are a lot of services involved, right? There's a marketing. All these solutions used to be a hosted solution. So basically, you keep a server, you install that service, and then you call that service. Now all these services, all become, cloud and SaaS. So you just make an API call, and that's it. You get your data. So you don't need to host another infrastructure, another dependency. So it gives you, more fault tolerance, more backup, and because that provider will have the underlying fault tolerance, underlying failover, everything there. So you don't need to worry about a failover, right? Another big issue, right, with the traditional data center was that you have everything going fine, and one day just, a big storm came, and your data center is done, right? Lightning strike, for example. So you used to manage a failover data center. Basically, you have to manage two. So you keep a bare bone failover, and you have to keep your data replicated. Data replication is like your transactional data, your day-to-day data. You need to be backed up, and then it has to be current. Like, let's say if Flipkart today, let's say, is working in one single data center, and let's say, flood came. Let's say it's in Delhi. There's a flood right now, I think, and water get inside your data center. Then what? Your site is down. Even though if you might have backup, then again you should have that capability, that you have another backup location where you have everything. You can just, on a flip of a switch, you can turn on. But again, how many companies can afford to having two data center? Forget about one. So that's where cloud comes. They have hundreds of backup locations. You're not dependent on one location. Lightning strike. There's just can be anything, any disaster, and you are ready for the backup, seamless. So it gives you a lot of opportunities. So I think, and that's why you see a lot of adoption is happening right now, and very quickly happening. Probably in another 5 years, I think there'll be nothing hosted. It will all be in the cloud.
So that is where you suggested the topic is digital commerce on cloud. So a lot of business and commerce is shifting towards cloud for being continuous, to be 24 cross 7, and to be agile, and a very relevant topic for the viewers in Career Pathshala about the cloud, commerce in cloud. And definitely a company like Salesforce, Prashant working there can give us a very good insight on how the changes in the future is coming up. तो जो फ्यूचर में होने वाला है वो आप अगर प्रेजेंट में उस स्किल्स को एक्वायर करेंगे तो डेफिनेटली अपने आप को अपस्किल करेंगे तो यू विल बी ऑलवेज इन डिमांड एंड यू विल नॉट ओनली गेट अ गुड जॉब but you can grow in the career. So taking it forward, yes, Shubhi, you want to ask the
Yes,
next
sir.
question?
Yes, sir. So students usually face that from where to learn. So can you suggest any online sources from which we might helpful, which might be helpful in future?
So, if you want to learn any of the, for example, Salesforce technologies, right? So there is a platform anybody can go and learn. It's an open learning platform called Trailhead. So if you can go and search Salesforce Trailhead. Trailhead is open. Anybody can go and learn. There's huge, even labs are there. Really good learning platform for any Salesforce technology. And the other, lot of options, right? As I told you, right, Amazon has, if you want to get certification specific to any Amazon technology, same as Microsoft. Microsoft used to be, I shouldn't say, I don't know to use the word, but they used to be a very shy company. So they were never do a lot of sharing. There was no freeware. There was no open source focus, but I think they changed lately. I think they're opening up a lot of learning opportunities on their product. I think that's a good thing, good change. So yeah, even Azure has a lot of learning opportunities, but the Trailhead you'll find very diverse, very diverse learning opportunities. There are thousands of learning opportunities there, and you can register and learn.
Thank you, sir.
So Akshita, you want to take the next question?
Yes, sir. So industries like e-commerce communities and of course some clients like the industrial banking sector, which are the clients of Salesforce. So they are getting benefited through the services of Salesforce. But how exactly has their trade increased and how, like in a clear view, how is cloud helping them to increase their sales?
So I think I don't know how much if you know what's I think Salesforce was the first company even before Amazon to have something on cloud basically. So the CRM, right? If you look for the CRM products, they were the first one to start offering the cloud SaaS platform. So they are leader, but again today Salesforce has a huge product line. They like the entire customer life cycle, starting from sales, from marketing, from platform, from reporting like Tableau. They recently acquired Tableau, and MuleSoft, the integration layer. So again, eh, financial sector is again the biggest, I think the important part for the financial sector is security, and that's their kind of life, life and death for them, the security of the data, because it's financial security, financial data. So Salesforce have really had a good record on security. um, you will not find anything security wise. So I think that there's a lot of pedigree there. There's a lot of reputation there, and then because it's on cloud, um, just I'll give you example, right? So let's say if um, one example of Sales Cloud. Um, so once you adopt a Sales Cloud, for example, in a banking, let's say investment banking, then you have a lot of sales people who basically, they're the backbone of any investment organization. And what they can do, right, the entire customer journey, starting from first discussion to the closing, everything, the entire life cycle is basically managed through the cloud application that Salesforce provides. So um, right from first meeting until it becomes your customer, it becomes your your investment strategy, growth. So I think the entire customer life cycle journey, you can get into one click. The reporting and trending, it gives you everything pretty much. You don't need to go into 5 systems and look into it. You can get one view. You get into one view, you select what you want, and you'll be there. And it's all with your browser. You don't need to like double click on 5 applications and calculate something. So just one example. Um, just keep your data unified, and then security. So a lot of growth and adoption is happening pretty much every industry about cloud. And again, if you want to sell something, you want to promote something, that product is there to help you, and it's scalable. I think the most important part is scalability.
Okay, sir. So I have one question. So, sir, how does the cloud technology enables companies to market themselves in the best ways? And what are the same feature for exclusively Salesforce focus upon? Matlab, Salesforce, what do you think Salesforce focus upon in present scenario?
um,
You mean the edge of Salesforce
Yeah.
among other competitors, and
Um,
how it is driving the new digital commerce on cloud?
yeah, so Salesforce का जो unique capability है, right? I think Salesforce Commerce Cloud is the only right now which is fully SaaS based cloud e-commerce platform. There's no other. Basically, that's the difference. You will see there are a lot of other companies, not many. Probably there is one more company who says they are moving, but nobody yet. Salesforce is on cloud for like 7 years, 8 years now, as a fully software as a service, entire platform. It's like you can lift and shift. What I'm using this word because let's say you are a company, and you are not online. You're not selling digitally today. You have a store. Let's say you have 50 stores, physical stores. You're selling stuff, but you decided, okay, I want to go to online. Now, if you just decide, and let's say you want to go online in 6 weeks or 8 weeks, whatever your timeline is, and once you start looking, other than Salesforce, I don't think anybody can do that, because Salesforce gives you everything, the entire platform access. Only thing you need to do is customize your data, and you'll be up and running basically. Because you don't need to build any infrastructure, you don't need to build any servers, nothing. You don't need to start one server to build up a new commerce site. So that's unique, and it gives you that flexibility. Again, as I told you, it gives flexibility of running the cloud without worrying about your future growth. You might be growing double, triple every year, and you don't need to worry about it. You just pay for your usage, how much you're using, how much your orders you're doing. So I think it's a win-win. And I think there's no other platform right now that gives you that 100% SaaS capability. You can get others which give you 50-60% capability, but nobody gives you 100% capability of SaaS-based e-commerce platform.
Take few questions from audience. So we have Astha Mujmir asking the basics benefit of cloud computing. So I think it's all on the show what we did, but if you can summarize the benefits of cloud computing and including the advantages of cloud services. So just for viewers.
Yeah, so cloud again, as I told, right? Cloud gives you that flexibility that one, you don't have to carry resources more than what you need. So you're not wasting your resources. You're only using as much as you want. So your cost is going to be down and your reliability is going to be up, because you don't need to worry about failover. You don't need to worry about disaster, because that's all your cloud platform provider has to worry about, not you. So once you have your infrastructure operations out of your way, you focus on doing the thing what you do, right? So any organization has they have a business and they have product to sell. Anybody who is, right, they're there to sell something and make money, rather than focusing and spending money and time on building your infrastructure, maintaining your infrastructure. But that's not core business, right? IT is an enabler, right? IT is not core, as we all know, right? IT just enables business to grow and drive it. IT is an enabler, it's a helper. IT is never been your what's called your your business model. So there are some companies, again, IT, again, I'm using a generic term, right? IT is very broad. There are product companies, like Salesforce, for example, right? We sell software. So it's a little bit different in that perspective, because we build product and we sell it, and we also have IT. So, but again, for majority, right? Because products are also to be sold to someone. Majority, 99% companies are not product. They're not building product and selling, right? There are a lot of retailers who just, it's Flipkart or Amazon or anybody you can think about, right? They are there to sell products. So clothing company, designers, their focus is not IT. IT is going to help them to grow faster and remove the obstacles that they have today. So cloud helps in that way, right? It gives you that flexibility, and it gives the organizations can focus more on the business than worrying about their IT infrastructure. And so it gives you two advantages. One is you don't need to worry about your infrastructure, and then you're gonna save money because you're only paying for the usage.
You get an access to the required infrastructure as and when required. You need not to maintain it, and that saves cost. A lot of features which you cannot afford paying, maintaining a server or a back service for yourself, you can use them as and when required. And there's a couple of questions on the security of data and information we have in cloud. So how much secure, how much encrypted, and how the data जो हम अपना cloud में डालते हैं तो वो कितना secure होता है, and क्या guarantee है कि company will not use my data. Like there's always been a debate कि Facebook using a lot of consumer data and to bring the predictive analysis, consumer behaviors, and selling it to companies. So this is all what being heard, not my statement, but so how you think that how much reliability and safe the data is in the cloud?
Yeah, I mean, data is a very vast kind of word, right? Data is anything or everything, right? What you retain, basically, So I don't think today, I don't know, you guys know about GDPR, like, the European guideline for security these days, and um, personal data, basically, right? So GDPR guidelines are pretty much everywhere now. So, ideally, nobody should save any customer data today. You cannot save it, and especially any PII data or PCI data. PII data is personal information. PCI is any uh, any financial data, basically. So first, you not save it, but if customer want, it will always be in encrypted format, and you don't have any way to decrypt it. What you're talking about, Facebook, I think it's mainly your personal. It's not even a PII data. PII data, a very specific definition. What they do is like, they run algorithms, right? What they do is like, based on your behavioral pattern, they build a profile for you, right? It's not exactly using your personal data per se, right? So you are using Facebook. You've turned on your, let's say, turn my location on, right? You go and you location. If you turn on location data, then they can use the data to predict what you do every day, where you go to shopping. I mean, there are a lot of things they can do, right? They can learn. You go and you tag something that you are here. A lot of people do that, and it's personal choice. But again, this is not a PII data, which is um, prohibited per se. It's not your phone number that they can share. It's not your other personal information. It's again your mostly they run algorithms to predict your behavior, to predict lot of things, basically, right? They don't necessarily use your personal data, so there's a difference. A lot of again, a lot of people who publish this, they don't understand what exactly they're trying to say, but again, they do not use, nobody uses your personal data. It's just about what you're accepting, right? Every time, if your location data is turned off, right, it will ask you, right, do you want to share your location? You'll say yes. You said yes, so it means your location is being tracked, and it will be used for some purpose. They're probably not going to sell it. They can do, again, it's a platform, right? They have to get revenue, so they can use your behavioral data. What they use more is your behavioral data, and a lot of things they can do. You can write algorithms to really build any kind of profile, anything, and they can do. So you go and your profile. Let's say your data is turned on. You go on Google. You search something. You search for Flipkart. You go to Facebook. You see Flipkart ad will come, right? I mean, I'm just giving an example, right? It will come because your the search data is
Browser
being
history.
tracked. Yeah. So again, it's complicated, I can say, at least. Probably more rules will come in the future who will maybe even ban using these. But right now, whatever the current rules are, I don't think they're breaking any of it. Trust me, if they're breaking, they'll be in trouble.
So IT constitutions will be soon written by world nations and United Nations. So where there will be a constitution, or maybe the rules for the privacy, as you rightly said, a lot of European unions are coming up and raising voice of violation of privacy. So, but that is also quite interesting with the cloud being the prime player can have a good control, and the things could be in place even for the government and the people of the countries to come together on a common guidelines also.
Yeah, the European GDPR is probably the most strictest one right now, but it's European, so not everybody has to adhere to it. In US also recently, the California privacy data came. So I think US is pretty much at the same standard as Europe now. It got effective in May, I think May this year. So I think they're trying to use the same, the customer today have now the option to call any organization and say, delete my data, and they have to delete it. That was not the case before. Now everybody has to give that option in US, that delete my this data. I don't want it to be public, or I don't even want you to have it. Just remove my account, delete my account, all those, you don't have that today, but it is now a law. So you can request any organization to delete your data. That's a step in good direction. But again, I think there might be a lot of loopholes. Then again, with adoption of new technology, I think it's a learning process like anything, right? New things will come and it will be amended, and new things will be added. New holes will be found and they'll be filled. It's like that. So any new law comes in, I think there'll be always new things added to it.
I remember Mark Zuckerberg being questioned in the U.S. Senate, and his opening remark was, "I'm sorry." So even the companies like Facebook coming up and they admitting that yes, there is a privacy violation, but it's probably not the intention, but they're also evolving, and the new business is trying to accommodate with the best practices. So we have another viewer, Anjali Pandey. Akshita, you want to take this question?
Absolutely, sir. She asks, as the 70% world is shifting to cloud, mm, so shouldn't a college take an initiative to become an enterprise of either AWS or Red Hat so that we can get the benefits of the exams?
She's voicing that the college infrastructure should also be on cloud at times, especially times like pandemic. So the access could be a better one. Your thoughts on the Indian
Yeah,
education?
I think that is a good question, right? I mean, especially in this situation now, if students don't have access, let's say, to their labs, um, I don't think they have, so definitely, I think the colleges should think about, buying some cloud infrastructure, basically. Make some images, of their, major softwares which students can connect into and work on. I think it's a good it's a good idea, I guess. I think this is the time when a lot of things will. This is the time when things will evolve. I think probably in the right direction, right? It's a saying, right? It's a gift and a curse. So there are a lot of good things that can happen with this pandemic. Actually, I'm not focusing on the negative part, but positively, we'll see a lot of infrastructure is being built towards it. Um, we never thought the entire world will be able to really, rely on the same infrastructure. So everybody scaled up for it. I think, um, everybody is 100%, at least employees are working from home. And you think about the reliability of internet, you think about, reliability of the speed, we especially, right, all the corporates, we have to work under a VPN, like virtual private network. So you work over a VPN, your VPN infrastructure, right? Usually, probably 5-10% people gonna use a VPN infrastructure. Now, 100%. So that infrastructure is, all it's like, testing for disaster is done for every company now. Everybody will be thinking, hey, if one other disaster will come, we are ready because we have built that infrastructure. So, yeah, but I think, yeah, schools, colleges, all should think about it, that, they have infrastructure. They should have infrastructure.
Rightly said that this pandemic, we the CII and the young Indians also evolved, and after doing the startup Pathshala, it gave us opportunity to interact with people like you in US, and giving that knowledge and giving that experience to students in India. Uh, and definitely this Pathfinder, which students have to travel, many would probably travel the path you traveled, and they look at connecting with you on LinkedIn and taking the best advantage. So such platforms and such thoughts came only in the pandemic of bringing something beyond the curriculum. Otherwise, we are very much driven in our normal going to colleges and just attending classes. Your roll number is called and you say present, so your work is done for the period. So now, now you're not much required now. So then it's all up to you how much you are taking the knowledge, and that's all. You come back home and you said, yes, I had a great full day of learning, but at the end how much you have learned and how much experience and exposure you have got. So such type of platforms and career Pathshala is intending to give you some exposure experience from the veterans of who are somewhere related to your education system went out and bring this. So another question, Shubhi, who you would like to take it, of Manish Singh.
Yes, sir. So Mani says, as we are heading towards Atmanirbhar, as said by our Prime Minister, so do you think that India should also adapt this cloud computing and face the challenge in the
तो उसका
present
क्वेश्चन ये है कि
platform?
हमें भी कुछ भारत का जैसे सुपर कंप्यूटर बना, तो हमें भी कुछ भारतीय क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग का एक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनाना चाहिए, बिकॉज वी हैव द सेकेंड लार्जेस्ट पॉपुलेशन इन द वर्ल्ड, एंड नाउ द एवरीवन इज ऑन क्लाउड. अब ये कहना वो नहीं होगा कि एक गांव में स्मार्टफोन नहीं है. If I go to villages, I always find people watching and accessing internet through mobile phones, and they are also pretty smart nowadays. So, your ideas, like, can we have something like Salesforce India with the tricolor logo?
I mean,
How far
cloud
India
is
is?
cloud is already there in India, right? I mean, Amazon has so many data centers, Azure has so many data centers, Salesforce have data centers. So it's not that cloud is not there. Cloud is there. If you go into, look into, give an example to a lot of people get surprised, right? The of Indian railway system, right? The reservation system is probably the biggest and the most highest transactional site. Now the data center is, you can say it's cloud. Cloud is, what is cloud? I mean, cloud is just, infrastructure. Infrastructure build with scalability, build with resiliency, build with um, security, easy to deploy, easy to build, and most important part is that it has BCP capabilities, business continuity, like disaster recovery situation. So that is probably that data center must be the biggest in the world. So I don't think we don't have it. I mean, we have it again. Um, Government is not going to make cloud. It's not government's job to make cloud infrastructure, right? It's all about adoption, right? Again, we already have such a huge players like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, who are giving you that platform. And again, you can always build it, but it's the same thing, like if you are selling on volume, then the competition becomes a problem, right? For what price Amazon and Microsoft can sell you cloud, it will be very difficult to compete with, because they're selling in the volume. They're selling in thousands and thousands and thousands. So it's not about building cloud anymore. It's about how competitive you are. If you are, I mean, it's not a big deal to build a cloud infrastructure, to be honest, if you have your money to build it. But how will you sell it, right? Any business proposition, right? Anybody, a lot of people can become entrepreneurs, right? Always think about ROI, right? How you're gonna monetize your business idea. You have any business idea, there might be hundreds, thousands, but always think about monetizing it. um, how you're going to make money out of a business, because ultimately that's the goal, right? So you can build a cloud infrastructure, but again, if you sell it cheaper than AWS and Azure, and with more features, if you can, yes, you can build it. building.
Sorry for this network issue, I think. So we are at the verge of a 1 hour session, but very informative and interactive we had with Prashant. And before we switch off and we go to the final conclusion, am I audible? I think there's some network glitch.
I can hear you.
Yeah. So finally, Prashant, कैरियर पाठशाला इज ऑल अबाउट कि अगर बच्चे कैरियर बनाना चाहते हैं, अगर वो सेकेंड ईयर में थर्ड ईयर में हैं, अभी वो काफी कंफ्यूज हैं कि कैरियर बनाना मतलब आईटी कंपनी में जाना है, मुझे टीसीएस, इन्फोसिस, कॉग्निजेंट, विप्रो में जॉब करना है, उसके आगे क्या होगा मुझे भी शायद नहीं पता. सो दिस इज द राइट टाइम फॉर देम टू एक्सप्लोर थ्रू गाइडेंस ऑफ पीपल लाइक यू. कि अगर किसी को सेल्स फोर्स में कैरियर बनाना है तो आपको उसका फ्रॉम स्टूडेंट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू उसे कितना प्रॉमिसिंग ये कैरियर है. और सेकंड क्वेश्चन ये है इसी का रिलेटेड कि फ्यूचर क्या है. अभी आप सेल्स फोर्स में जिस जगह बैठे हैं, सेल्स फोर्स इज इटसेल्फ brand like when you say Salesforce, you feel that yes, it's all about cloud and something, a very a trademark of cloud or something. So how you think that from here it will grow and future क्या है इस फील्ड में? क्योंकि अगर ग्रोइंग फील्ड है तो डेफिनेटली बच्चे इसको ज्वाइन करेंगे तो अगले 4-5 साल काफी कुछ सीखने को, ग्रो करने को मिलेगा. एंड डेफिनेटली देन देयर विल बी सम न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी व्हिच विल बी इवॉल्विंग. सो समथिंग फॉर द स्टूडेंट्स का आपका मैसेज, आपके एक्सपीरियंस है कि कहाँ ये आगे जाने वाला है, कितना प्रॉमिसिंग है बच्चों को इस फील्ड में कैरियर बनाना.
Yeah, I think everybody is adopting to cloud and SaaS and PaaS because it's as I told, right, easier to focus on your core business. If you're a manufacturer, focus on manufacturing. IT it's not should be your focus, right? That's what the goal. If you are selling something, focus on selling how best you can sell. If you're a clothing manufacturer, focus on selling. So that's what cloud or SaaS gives you, that that advantage, that you don't worry about IT and managing infrastructure. You leave it to the experts, which is all SaaS and cloud. So I think adoption is increasing. I think it will be close to 100% probably next 5 to 10 years, because it's not much worth having your host infrastructure if you're using 5% of it. It's just waste of money basically for any organization. So adoption will come. It's coming even faster. So I think definitely the career is there. Again, what area of career, again, as I told, right, there are certain areas, right? There are the product engineering area is where that's a core area where you build the product and build the new features. That area is, again, if you really enjoy programming, you are into it, and building new features excites you, I think that's the area for you. Focus on engineering. And then if you are more into problem solving, I would say more of a troubleshooter, then you should focus on SRE and DevOps. That area you'll get more interest and opportunity, right? So I think at this point, I think there are streams. There is QA as well, as which is actually part of the product life cycle. Very important. So it's again it depends on interest, what you feel, which area you want to go. If you feel you're more of a troubleshooter, you want to solve problems, then that's the area. If you feel like you want to build new things, you want to focus more on building new features, then focus on product engineering. But again, even in the companies like as you said, right, big service companies, Indian service companies, they have all these, they work in all these areas. Not much in product engineering, I would say, directly, but they are more involved into SRE and DevOps area. But again, there are still so many legacy areas and that you can get involved. Even product engineering also, they are there, but not 100%. So you can get those opportunities. Anywhere you land up, I think you will have that opportunity. You will see your space. You can always find a path for your interest. I don't think that there's any 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 stopping. Anywhere you land up, you will see your path, very clear path for success. I think if you're focused, don't think that you have to think a lot. Once you start your journey, I think you will keep looking into the path. You will keep driving towards that journey. Again, it always depends on what you enjoy, what you want to do. So just keep following that path. I think success will all come automatically. I think if you follow your interest, what you want to do, I would say don't become a herd. Don't go to herd mentality. If you really enjoy doing something, go for it. Just do not go for something that give you some employability, but not long term. So follow your interest. I think there are a lot of opportunities, and IT, non-IT business. I mean, there are a lot of business areas. A lot of people interested can go into. Right, again, as I told you, right, product life cycle is huge. Start from your requirement for the product until delivery of the product. If you look into how many teams you go through, the team which develops the product is probably just 20% of it. There is another 80% capability that is there who work, right? Business analysts or product managers, that's another stream, right? People can grow from business analyst, right? Business analysts are the one who basically gather your product requirement. They write stories of the product, because if you are an engineer, if you do coding, you will not understand requirements just by looking into a documentation. It has to be documented in a way you understand. So there is another big important stream there. Business analysts are, they come from, they can be technical, non-technical background. Then they grow into product management. Product managers are the one who are basically not IT. Product manager their own team. Product managers manage the feature or a product pipeline. They are the one who actually decide what needs to be built. They are the one who approve the features. Not the product engineering team is just build the product. They will actually get it from the product managers. So once you go, that what area is what you feel you are more interested into, what you want to do. So there are endless opportunities.
So the opportunities are endless, and you have to believe in yourself. As Prashant said, you have to think on something which excites you, something which you can create a passion for yourself. Because don't look at job, look at making a career. Otherwise, आपको job लगेगा, कुछ दिन में आप satisfied हो जाओगे, your needs are met, then there will not be the next excitement to grow in the career. And learning is a lifelong thing. Embrace it with excitement, and the moment you move, you will find new ways and new eras of learning. Prashant himself is a good learner now also. आज भी उनको कुछ ना कुछ सीखना पड़ता है. And very important, we had a very good technical discussion and also a lot of motivational things. Seeing Prashant, we all feel that yes, we can also make it. A student from the rural background of Varanasi, Saraswati Shishu Mandir, to Greater Boston now, and may we know that what's in the future ahead. So a very nice session we had today. We could not take all the comments and questions for the day, but there will be more session on cloud computing. So intentionally, we didn't took some questions on cloud, because there will be one more session probably we'll be having on cloud. But let's have the conclusion also from our two student viewers, Akshita and Shubhi. You also have been a good co-host. Let's hear a statement from both of you, and then we wrap up.
Yes, sir. So, thank you so much, Prashant, sir, for enlightening and inspiring us. We're obliged that you took time of your busy schedule to acknowledge us, the students, and told us so much about the technology that we're intrigued about it. I would also like to extend my sincere gratitude towards CIIYI Bhopal chapter and Dr. Anuj Garg, sir, for the gracious opportunity of letting me be a part of Career Pathshala. Signing off, Akshita Sharma.
Thank you so much, Prashant sir, for guiding us in a very different way. I'm sure that all of our students has gained a lot from you. It was wonderful session. Thank you, sir.
Sure, Shubhi and Akshita, thanks for being here. And it is the students for whom we all are taking this initiative. Prashant coming all the way. I think, what's the time, Prashant, now there? It's
It's
midnight.
12:46 a.m.
Oh, good. Good. So good. We are on the same date now.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
happy Parents' Day. We have, I think, my daughter today told it's a Parents' Day and she's making some greetings. So the best gift we can give to our parents is being Atmanirbhar ourselves and to grow. Definitely, we. It's always a feeling of pride when in Varanasi today also the relatives and the home of Prashant keeps talking about, "Ki, okay, my kid is in Boston and doing good." So definitely, all the parents, the biggest gift we can give back is to be very learning themselves, living the life fullest, and being confident and standing up on their own feet. So it has been very remarkable, प्रशांत जी आपके साथ आज मुलाकात हुई और भारत को इंडिया को भोपाल को आज आपने समय दिया we definitely are thankful. I know that beyond this 1 hour, Prashant has been always being in touch, giving the feedbacks which we thought of sharing with students. We will definitely look forward, Prashant, to join us on some informal motivational talks also as you feel free. So, Career Pathshala is equally yours for the students, and we really thank you and the contribution, the insight, the information you brought to our show would be definitely be taken in a very positive and very informative way by the students. तो आप सबको बहुत बहुत प्रशांत जी आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद एंड कल का हमारा शो होगा मशीन लर्निंग पे मशीन लर्निंग लाइफ साइकिल सो प्लीज डोंट मिस द शो it will be live at 12:30 students are requested to register at CI Top for the more updates and final remarks from Prashant before we sign off for the day and आपका final concluding note बच्चों के लिए मैसेज देन फिर हम इसको साइन ऑफ करते हैं सर
No, it has all been my pleasure. बहुत अच्छा लगा. I'm a talker, so I can anytime come and talk. No worries. And the only thing, right? As I told, focus on your interest, follow it, and success will be there, in my opinion. So never feel that success will not be there. Follow what you like. I think by the time I think everybody, right, if you're doing engineering, I think you have that nag and interest, and now you have to narrow that, right? You have to narrow and focus, where exactly you want to be. Think yourself looking at, okay, what you want to do after 1 year, short term, after 3 years, after 5 years, and then make small goals, I think, to achieve that. I think that will be my advice, my 2 cents. That don't make big goals, make small goals for yourself. Make your, even you can make your weekly goals, make your monthly goals, make your daily goals. I think that will keep you motivated, and you have your, tick marks done. Okay, I have done this. Couldn't do this. Why I couldn't do this? There are a lot of things we can discuss. Time management is what I learned. It's very important, right? So always make sure you manage your time well. Do not procrastinate things. Do things which are due tomorrow, do it today. Do not wait for tomorrow. These things, we all learned from the childhood again, but it's still very relevant today. Do your time management. If you do your time management well, you don't need to procrastinate anything. That actually keep you disciplined and get the things done. Do not wait for the deadline to finish it. That's very detrimental actually for your success, for your future. So I think do time management, keep small goals. Always keep big goals as well, but again, small goals will take you to your big goal. So you keep your small goals very relevant to your bigger goal. Whatever you do, you're learning or anything you want to do, keep yourself healthy. I think that's I always say everyone, it's very very important, and that you keep yourself physically and mentally both healthy, because there's going to be a lot of stressful time, lot of difficult times that will come in everybody's life, right? So physical and mental health is very important. So I always say anybody, my son, my daughter, even my mom, to try to be build a hobby which involves physical work. Build any hobby. It can be running, it can be jumping, it can be whatever you want to do. Do something because you're gonna need it. Trust me. So all of you are going to need it. Keep it alive. There are a lot of kids involved in sports, but they once they go into college, they just keep it a back burner. Don't do it. Keep it alive. Don't lose interest. Keep working on that, and that is going to help all of you in a big way. No matter how busy you are, no matter how much work you have, again, time management comes into it. Work efficiently and focus on your physical health always. Do not underestimate it. It's I would say most important today, because you are sitting all day on my chairs. I I sit on my chair. They start at 8:30 in the morning and goes until 5:36, and then if you don't do anything physically, then you're destined for bad things. It's going to happen not today, after some days. So physical and mental health, along with everything else you do, always do that.
So very rightly said. You have to be alive and fit to embrace the future, to embrace the changes and the positivity and success. So thank you so much, Prashant. We had a very good start of the day at India, a meaningful Sunday. We all are heading towards, and time management is the key. So. If you want to be in Career Pathshala 5 to 10 years from now, where a slot of Prashant to take, manage your time, live your dreams, stay focused, and don't compromise on what you want to do. And if you don't have any passion to lead or something, try to explore it. So Career Pathshala will help you to bring a lot of experts, and you can pick and choose any of the areas to make your career with. So thank you so much, Prashant. We really love to have you, and we'll hope that in future also we have you at our show. Thank you so much, viewers. Keep watching Career Pathshala. We all enjoy your weekend. Have a great Sunday. Thank you so much.
Thank you.